Hey there, I'm Max and I've created a pretty dope video for Odyssey playing cards that looks like this. Right, this was the video. Overall, I'm pretty happy, but of course there are a couple of things that could have been done better. And now I just want to show you how I structured my video and what I did to create it. So how did I structure my video? Normally I use mood boards because I think mood boards are really impactful and important, because you can use mood boards to just gather up ideas because you want to know what vibe or what feeling you want to convey with the product or with the video. But in this case I already knew it, at least roughly, because yeah, for those who don't know, the Exodus deck, like from Odyssey, looks like this, and it's a pretty nice deck, and its theme is around like ancient culture, and like it uses gold and copper foil, or like at least the colors of it, but it should represent gold and copper. So I knew that I wanted to do something more like industrial, and yeah, something that follows this theme. Next up is the storyboard. The storyboard is also very important, but not necessary every time. The storyboard is also basically just there to gather up ideas and to get a rough feeling what shots you want to take. It can help a lot, especially if you only have a specific time limit when you can film or shoot something, because then you can plan shots beforehand and maybe even consider or like think about specific transition you want to use. For example, there's a thing, I don't know the specific terminology for it, but where you do like a clear cut in between two shots, and you end up with the same motion as the next shot begins with. So you have like a very fluent transition in between those shots without any post-production. And it's really good and really helpful to use. But if you don't know what shots you want to take beforehand, you will end up with a shot that you can only edit in post-production without those specific and natural transition in between that you can use, or like that you can create beforehand if you know exactly what you want to do. And I think also it's really important to consider the time limit. I mean, in this case I was just at home and had basically every time that I needed. But sometimes when you're shooting at a specific location and you only have a specific time limit, then you want to use this time very carefully, because otherwise you will end up with either not enough shots, or only with like shots you can't really use because those are the wrong shots. And sometimes you can just go with the flow, and like while you're shooting you will come up with new ideas. But it's at least good to have a rough idea in mind what you want to do or what you want to convey, or like what the topic of the video should be about. And then I just started filming. Okay, actually I would need a backdrop for my next shot, but I don't have one. But I have this wonderful curtain behind me. I don't know whether this works or not, but let's just try it out and see how it goes. So the next thing that I actually did was starting to film my first couple of shots. I started chronologically with a clip where the Odyssey logo slowly appears into the scene out of pure blackness. It has a very cinematic feel to it in my opinion, and it also looks a bit epic too. To get the shot, although, I needed a black environment. That meant less to no light, but still enough light to get a clear image with the least amount of noise possible. I think it's better in this case to darken the black parts of the video in post-production and lighten the subject well, instead of lighting the subject badly, getting a lot of noise, and then trying to increase the exposure afterwards in post-production, which only leads to even more noise. Also good to mention is that I had a softbox that I used, which is pretty good to get soft light, but the downside of it was that I couldn't dim the intensity of it. Sadly, that makes it even harder to get a good environment to film dark shots. Also, if you have a proper backdrop, use this one instead. Then I did nearly the same thing with the tuck case. I used something called a Lazy Susan to let the box spin around evenly. Then I color graded the video. I added some particles and sound effects, changed it up in size, and ended up with something that looks like this. Sweet. I really like that, actually. I think it looks better than I expected. Right, so next up, I tried to make the transition seamless from the tuck case into the spinning playing cards. And that's what I did. I jumped into Blender and used my card model that I had already created. Then I just copied a lot of different nodes, which gave the cards more detail, and added the Odyssey card texture. After a bit of struggling to proper animate it, I rendered the spinning motion of the cards. And again, just by adding a bit of sound to it, it gives it a whole new look. Then I filmed myself in different lighting conditions doing some cardistry stuff, since I didn't know quite sure which one would be the best at the end. With that being said, if you only have one light source, like one main light source, just place it in front of you or like slightly to the side. But if you have at least two different ones, then also place one behind you, because then it separates you from the back, which helps you a ton at the end in post-production. But a serious lid setup would require more gear and more time to set up. And in my case, I think this was sufficient. And then it came to the last shot. And I think that you might find this one very interesting. Let's have a look again. Yes, and here's how I did it. Here for the next shot I need a mirror, but of course I don't have a mirror. But instead what I've got is I found this giant mirror shelf that I haven't installed yet. And it will serve my purpose for a mirror perfectly, so yeah, it works. But of course, if you have a mirror, then just use this one. It's probably way easier to use and less heavy. Basically, I just used this mirror shelf as a normal mirror. Of course, if you have a normal mirror, use your mirror. But in my case, I just placed it on top of my table, turned on my TV, plugged in my laptop into my TV, searched up an animated video of a cool backdrop for my TV and just transferred it via HDMI. And also what you might have seen, I also changed up the blue tones to orange at the end in post-production, of course. And actually that's almost it. Everything that I've done is basically just this. And then I just looked up some free stock footage that I could use that support my video. And I also used the free trial from Epidemic Sounds to get some nice background music and some sweet sound effects. And yeah, that's really it. And by doing all that, I think I made a pretty nice playing card trailer. If you like the playing cards used in this video, do me a huge favor and click the first link in the description. You will get right over to the Kickstarter campaign from Odyssey Playing Cards, which just launched their new Exodus edition. Yo guys, thanks for watching. I really hope that you could follow along well enough. Since it's my first YouTube video, I'm pretty excited about your feedback, and it would mean a lot to me if you could just write anything in the comments. If you like videos like this one here, and are also maybe interested in other topics like graphic design for example, you can just subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.